So if you're considering a Pixel 3 XL, there's a pretty good chance that you might also be considering a OnePlus 6T. After all, OnePlus has always been very competitive and comparable to Google's Pixel phones and even some of Google's prior Nexus phones. Although OnePlus phones have gotten more expensive over the years, they still undercut the competition by a pretty big margin because, frankly, other flagship smartphones have also gone up in price. The OnePlus 6T starts at $549 for the 6GB of RAM version with 128 gigs of storage and tops out at $629 with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. The Pixel 3 XL starts at $899 for 64 gigabytes and will set you back $1,000 for double the storage. Both models come with 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, even though the OnePlus 6T is priced very competitively, in order for OnePlus to meet that price point, they still have to leave out some key features that are starting to become pretty common in a lot of other smartphones. The OnePlus 6T doesn't have wireless charging, and it also doesn't have official IP certification against water and dust, both of which the Pixel 3 XL have. So if you care pretty heavily about those features, the Pixel 3 XL is going to be worth the extra cost. Wireless charging is a convenient feature to have, but I don't consider it a necessity, so I don't really mind that the OnePlus 6T doesn't have it, and their ridiculously fast dash charging sort of makes up for the fact that it doesn't have wireless charging. IP certification, on the other hand, is a very important feature, and it's a feature that's even starting to become important to the most average of consumers, so it's kind of surprises me a little bit that OnePlus hasn't added it in yet. Overall though, the hardware between the Pixel 3 XL and OnePlus 6T are very comparable. They both run on Snapdragon 845s, they both don't have a headphone jack, they both have large AMOLED screens, and they're both made of metal and glass. Now when it comes to design, I don't really prefer one over the other. I like them both pretty equally. They're pretty similar in size, they both feel very comfortable to hold and use, and build quality isn't really a problem, but most phones nowadays tend to have pretty good build quality anyways. One thing that makes the OnePlus 6T pretty unique is that it's the first phone sold in the US with an optical fingerprint sensor. This means that the fingerprint sensor is embedded underneath the display, and it's pretty cool and feels very futuristic, but it's nowhere near as fast as the traditional fingerprint sensor that you get on the Pixel 3 XL, and it's also pretty inconsistent. Sometimes it unlocks at a reasonable speed, and other times it takes a good 2 to 3 seconds before actually unlocking, which kind of gets annoying. I think this technology will definitely get better over time, but for now I still prefer the more traditional fingerprint sensor of the Pixel 3 XL. Something that I like better about the OnePlus 6T though is the way that it handles the notch on its display. A lot of phone displays this year have come with notches, but this is probably the most attractive looking one. It uses this teardrop shaped notch which cuts out a very small portion of the screen because it only houses a front facing camera, and most people will probably like this over the Pixel 3 XL's gigantic notch. Like every other notch, you do get used to the Pixel 3 XL's notch, but if you want the best looking notch possible, the 6T is obviously the better choice. Software, I think, is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people tend to compare OnePlus phones to Pixel phones. With the Pixel 3 XL, you get the purest Android software possible. It's a completely stock, clean and simple Android 9 Pie experience, and because it's a Pixel, you're always going to be the first to get the next version of Android or any other major software update that Google pushes out. The OnePlus 6T runs Oxygen OS, and what I've always enjoyed about Oxygen OS is that it feels a lot like stock Android, but Oxygen OS gives you a ton of customization options. You can change the accent colors, pick between a light or dark theme, and there's a bunch of different gesture controls that you can use as shortcuts for launching apps or other functions. The OnePlus 6T also comes with Android Pie out of the box, and OnePlus is one of the better companies out there when it comes to updating their devices. They're pretty quick with releasing updates, and usually you can try a beta version of the update before it goes public if you want the update even sooner. Alright, so let's talk about the cameras. The OnePlus 6T uses a 16 and 20 megapixel combo, and the Pixel 3 XL still uses a single 12 megapixel lens because Google does so much on the software side of things that they don't feel the need to use two lenses. The OnePlus 6T produces some really great images with fantastic colors and sharpness and keeps up really well with the Pixel 3 XL for the most part, but the Pixel 3 XL outperforms the OnePlus 6T in dynamic range and and low light. By no means is dynamic range on the OnePlus 6T bad, it's just that the Pixel 3 XL is that much better, and when looking at their photos side by side, you can see how much more shadow and highlight detail the Pixel 3 XL is able to capture. Low light shots from the Pixel 3 XL are also much sharper and more detailed, and this is without even resorting to using night sight. Night sight pretty much transforms the Pixel 3 XL into an entirely different camera, and there isn't much the OnePlus 6T can do to capture a comparable image. So if I had to pick between these two phones, I would go with the Pixel 3 XL. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but I like the wireless charging, I like the IP68 certification, and I prefer the image quality of the Pixel 3 XL. The OnePlus 6T still provides amazing value with price to performance, and it also has a super clean software experience with Oxygen OS, but as an overall package, I like the Pixel 3 XL better. But which one would you guys choose? Let me know down in the comment section below if you are team OnePlus 6T or if you're team Pixel 3 XL. Leave that down in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't already, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, and check the website androidauthority.com. Check out the written version of this comparison for more in-depth information. And as always, I will talk to you guys in the next video.